Hello friends, welcome. My name is Popeye. Today we're playing some more Steins Gate. I apologize for no audio, but apparently the point we're at has no audio. Because the night sky needs no audio. So I'm sorry you didn't get a little intro music, but I hope that will be resolved soon. Hello Samses, how are you doing this fine evening? Last time, Steins Gate, you were extremely tired. I feel that. I slept through my alarm this morning. I don't really need an alarm on the weekends, but I like to have an alarm so I don't feel like I'm wasting the day. I slept through that, and yeah, I still feel tired after that. And I've also been drinking. Not much, but I have been drinking. That does not help. Um, yeah, so I feel you on that. Yeah, Steins Gate, last time we had Shining Finger send a message back in time after Daru failed with like 3 messages trying to win some Yu-Gi-Oh! Style card game. And Shining Finger wanted to not buy a cell phone. And apparently it worked because the timeline has changed, but we haven't seen her and it seems like none of our friends recognize her or like remember her at all. So that's weird. Yeah, we know she exists because we messaged her and she messaged back, but we're gonna see what happens next. We ran outside after something and we're just staring at the sky. So let's see what's gonna happen. I try sorting out what happened this afternoon. I feel you, main character. That's me too. But it's impossible. The more I think about it, the more confused I get. And now we have music. Then I hear footsteps coming down from the second floor. Soon Mayuri and Krisu emerge. And they're immediately just right smack dab in my face. Pounder, thank you for the 5 bits. Can't stay because you have work, but you wanted me to have these. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful person. Thank you for stopping in, and you don't have to give me any bits, even if you can stay. You don't have to show up at all. But I appreciate it anyways. Thank you.
まあな、マッドサイエンティストたるもの、研究所に寝泊まりして、研究だけに没頭するぐらいでなければ務まらない。
形から入るのって良くないと思うわけだが。
でもね、この場所ってとっても便利だよね。マユシーもお父さんお母さんが許してくれるならここに泊まりたいよ。
Your mom and dad should not let you stay with us. We are insane.
え？本気？
そしたらバイトに行くのもすぐだもん。ねえねえクリスちゃん、今度みんなでお泊まり会しよ
う。男性陣がいないのなら OK。
それは無理だ。
だったらまゆりさん、私のホテルに来たら？
そういえばそんな約束してたもんね。じゃあ今度お邪魔するね。
いつでも言ってくれていいから。それじゃあ。
Thank you for the lurk, Pounder. Hope you have a good day at work. Kirsi waves goodbye and starts walking the opposite direction from Akihabara Station. Mayuri doesn't move from that spot. Instead, starts doing her usual thing, Stardust handshake. Looks up to the night sky, raising her hand as if to grasp the stars. Perfect timing, a shooting star crosses the sky. I really wish they'd actually animated her like this hand in the sky.
Oh. 流れ星だな。願い事はしたか？
Mayuri doesn't answer. Keeps gazing at the sky.
オカリンって小学生の頃すごい熱を出して 1ヶ月ぐらい寝込んでたことがあったよね。
So, from what I remember, we're about a solid 5 years older than her. She's about 16. We're early 20s. So, like a 5, 6, 7 maybe year difference, something like that. So if we were in elementary school together, she would have been like just starting and we would have been just ending, more or less.
何を突然言い出すんだ？
About 10 years ago, at the turn of the century, and the world was in an uproar over Y2K. At the end of 1999, I had a fever of nearly 40 degrees Celsius that lasted about a month. I didn't recover until the new year. At least, that's what I've been told. I don't remember it myself. According to my parents, I was unconscious the whole time, tossing and turning. The doctor said it was a miracle I didn't die. Because of that fever, I didn't get to experience the Millennium Countdown event. They never figured out what caused it either.
あの時ね、マユシーはオカリンが死んじゃうんじゃないかって思ってすごく怖かったんだよ。だからね、おばあ
Her
ちゃん
eyes look so weird, just like staring off into the distance, but they have that, like, not quite concentric circle look with the square in the middle. It looks weird. It looks like almost like alien eyes, like weird. Like she's not all there right now, kind of thing.
何しろ10年前の時点で俺はトーマス・エジソンに匹敵する IQ170 の頭脳を持つマッドサイエンティストだったのだからな。
Actually, I'm not sure what Edison's IQ was.
そうだったんだ。オカリンってすごいんだね。でもね、まだちっちゃかったマユシーはそのことがわからなかったからお空に祈ってて、でね、大晦日もうすぐ年が明けるっていう時にね、流れ星がピューって流れたの。今みたいに流れ星はね、消える前
Gosh, and then her eyes come over to us, and it's even creepier.
ことができたら願いが叶うんだよ。知ってたかな？
Of course, that's the most common of common knowledge.
もちろんマユシーは一生懸命3回唱えたの。
Then Mayuri finally lowers her hand and turns to me. On her face is a soft smile.
次の日、年が明けた頃にね、オカリンは熱が下がって目を覚ましたのです。つまりマユシーはオカリンの命の恩人なんだよ。
いや違うな。あの状況で助かったのはシュタインズゲートの選択だ。
Stop ruining the dreams of a 16-year-old girl.
そうなのだ。
そっか。
Mary looks a little disappointed.
ねえねえ、熱が下がった時ね、オカリンはこんなことを言ってたんだけど、覚えてる？急に見ているものがぐにゃぐにゃしてきて、立っていられなくてフラフラして、んで体がビクってなったって。
That sounds like what happens when we alter time.
さっきのオカリンもね、そんな感じだったよ。大丈夫？また熱出して倒れたりしない？
Turn on her face is so sincere. Everything about her is sincere. Maybe a little bit naive or aloof, but it's always sincere. Looks like she's worried about my reaction to Moeka's disappearance. Geez, my hostage is worrying about me. Find myself giving her a wry smile.
案ずるな。何も心配ない。
I brush her worry off with a shrug, think back to what happened 10 years ago. I woke up from that fever, the first thing I saw was Mayuri's crying face. That's right, I vaguely remember describing my collapse that way. Come to think of it, it does seem to match with the sensation I felt a few hours ago, reading Steiner activated.
そうか。この俺の魔眼はまさにあの時にこの身に宿ったのだな。
10 years ago from this might line up with the prequel, not quite prequel game. That's the choice of Steins Gate. I really was born with this power. No wonder John Titor thinks I'm the Messiah. Maniacal laugh echoes into the night. Okay, so while we're doing this little transition, so we're at chapter 4, which is the first chapter in this game where you can get an ending. This game has about 7-ish endings. There's one true ending, some endings that are kind of good, some that are bad. We're going to be going through this game. I know there are endings. I don't know 100% what they are or how to get them. I guess I know a bit more about what they are just from watching the anime. But I think I've said this before, that was like a solid, I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that when I watched it. So we're going to be playing through blind until that point, and if we don't get the true ending, which I expect will happen, then I'll probably look up how to get it and we'll continue to the true ending. And after that, if people are interested in what the other endings are, you can look those up. Or I guess you can look them up now if you don't care about spoiling it for yourself. Next day, the lab gets an unusual guest. Ferris. No.
おお、ルカシじゃんか。
こんにちは、橋田さん。
Her skull hairpin does not suit her personality at all.
ルカコ、妖刀さみだれを持ってこないとは何事だ。今日お前が来ると聞いて、俺は殿下の宝刀ミストルティンの封印を解いたというのに、お前には失望したぞ。
Okay, what's Mistletoe? Some... Of course it's Norse mythology, this game. Legendary sword, born from a sprig of mistletoe. Slay the undying god Balder, thus beginning the final war of the gods Ragnarok. Of course it's another Ragnarok reference. Actually, I didn't know he was coming.
すみません。今から取りに戻りますから。
いや、もういいんだ。サミダレとミストルティンの開口、またもお預けか。
I look out the window, an expression of melancholy.
つうか、本当と北欧神話の魔剣って釣り合わなさすぎてカオスなんだけど、そもそもオカリン、模造刀なんて持ってた？
僕、どうしたら。
ルカコよ、お前は俺の弟子でありながらまだいまいち真剣さが足りんな。
すみません。
こんな調子では使い物になるまでにまだまだ時間がかかるだろう。どうだ、なんだったら我がラボに入ってみないか。
え、僕がですか？
Lukako looks at me blankly.
でも僕、どんくさいですし、科学とか機械とかよくわかりませんし、きっと。
I mean, that sounds like Mayuri, and she was here.
それでもいいですか？
なんだ、マユリと変わらないではないか。
There we go.
ルカ君ならね、大歓迎だよ。でもね、 ルカ君をラボメンにするならマユシーはオカリンに一つ条件があるのです。ルカ君をいじめないことっていう条件。
I honestly thought your one condition was gonna be you get to dress her up. Dress him up. Mayuri forces her way between us as if to protect Lukako. She's the one who Luke called Lukako here. They're classmates.
それとルカ
For you being in school, you spend very little time actually in school, or studying, or doing
衣装合
homework.
わせに来たんだから邪魔しちゃダメなのです。
まゆりちゃん、でも僕コスプレはするつもりはないから。本当に衣装合わせだけでいいんだよね。
サイズが合ってるかどうかの確認だけだよ。
Looks like Mayuri forced him to come. As far as she's concerned, pretty boys exist only to make her cosplay fantasies come true.
じゃ
Mayuri shows off the costume she made.
ーん、ライネットのキラリちゃんだよ。
Is it just my imagination, or is that outfit pretty skimpy? I don't know if it's his first time seeing it, but Lukako just stares at the costume dumbfounded.
とりあえず完成度は 70% ってところなんだけどね。今この場でルカ君に試着してほしいんだ。
ここで着るの？
That is what a fitting session entails. Lukako glances at me and Dara and looks down to hide a blush.
無理だよ。
お願い。
Here's her eyes, Lukako's master. Ought to help out. But I bet you he won't.
我が弟子よ。衣装というのは己を変革するためにも重要な要素の一つだ。それを着ることでお前も成長できるかもしれんぞ。早速袖を通してみるがいい。
岡部さんまでそんなことを。僕こんな恥ずかしい格好できません。
そこで恥ずかしがるからダメだというのだ。
そうだよ。きっとね、とっても可愛くなるよ。
それにまゆりはお前に来てもらうために一生懸命そのコスを作っているのだぞ。眠る時間も大好物のバナナを胃袋に入れる時間もジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンをチンする時間も削って
Favorite
ひたす
banana
らチク
nourishment
チクチクチ
time.
ク針と糸を動かしミシンを走らせていたのだぞ。その努力には報いるべきだ。
そうですけど。
Good-natured Lukako is already bending to the power of my words.
さあさあさあ、ルカ君変身しよう。変身。
ちょっと待って。
Mayuri grabs Lukako's arm and drags him to the changing room.
ほら、恥ずかしがってないで服を
They do good, like, muffled voices in this game.
まゆりちゃん、そんなところ触らないで。分かったから、僕一人で来るから。
Gosh dang it, game.
あっちに。でもね、これって
At least it's not making me read this.
だからマユシーが1から10までちゃんと教えてあげる。お願いだから脱がさないね。
すごくゆりです。
違うな。あれはユリではない。なぜならルカ子は男だからだ。
ということは逆領辱ですか。むはー実に
Really?
けしからん。
Daru, please control yourself. Imagination knows no bounds. Can we just get to the point in this game where they're done doing this dumb stuff that I'm like, please don't put this on my stream? A few minutes pass, and out comes Mayuri first. She looks satisfied.
ルカくん、ほら、恥ずかしがらずに出てきてよ。
Lukako doesn't make an appearance, even when Mayuri calls him.
ルカくん
Finally, a nervous Lukako comes out of the dressing room. Lukako looks like he's about to cry. I can already see the tears forming. Game, please, we do not need a zoom. Isn't that skirt a little too short? Those bare legs are truly kept. Oh wait, oh god, oh god. I'm looking at a guy's legs, what the hell am I saying? Are his legs shaved? What's going on here, Lukako?
マユシーは感動だよ。やっとルカくんに来てもらえた。恥ずかしい。男なのに女装なんて。あのね、可愛いは正義なんだよ。
Need my beer.
わけがわからないよ。
さすがはマユシの仕事だな。服もモデルも互いに引き立て合ってる。3次元においてはフェイリスタン最強説を唱えている僕だけど、このルカ氏に対してはついついローアングラー化したくなるよ。
I need to look it up, but I'm guessing it has something to do with trying to upskirt people. Yeah, basically.
オカリンの感想はどうかな。
そうだな。
Urge to talk, I nod vaguely. Fascinated, but it's mortifying to admit that. Lukako is Lukako, yet Lukako is a man. Male. A man shouldn't be fascinated by another man. I whip up my phone and put it to my ear.
俺だ。今強烈な精神攻撃を受けている。いや、機関の差し金ではなく、むしろこいつはこの町を守護する大いなる巫女の末裔で、まずい、心が侵食されている。
I can feel my soul leaving my body at this conversation.
こいつを覚醒させられることができれば、機関による汚染も最小限にできるはず。分かっている。まだこの町を奴らの手に渡すわけにはいかない。これがシュタインズゲートの選択なのだな。エルプサイコングルー。
Catch my breath. Put away my phone. No, I don't. Take my phone back out. And smile at Lukako and the others, who are staring blankly at me.
ルカコよ、我が不肖の弟子よ。以後、戦いの時にはそのコストさみだれ装備で臨むがいい。
キラリちゃんは刀は持たないよ。むしろね、ウーパーを持つとぴったりだよ。
How's it going? It's been 20 minutes of trying to convince this guy to crossplay, and they finally did it. This is plot. Mayuri in high spirits makes Lukako hold the Upa cushion. His lips tremble as he reluctantly accepts the cushion. He clearly doesn't know what to do with it.
機関による魔の手はこの秋葉にまで迫ろうとしている。
I pretend not to notice Lukako's distress.
お前はこの混沌渦巻く首都を守る先森柳林神社に生まれし巫女よ。今こそその役目を果たす時。わかるかルカコよ。故に俺は常にお前に厳しく接しているのだ。この町を守る使命がお前にはある。
そうなんですか？
そうだとも。
その下品な笑いやめたら。外まで丸聞こえだぞ。恥ずかしい。
Krista enters the lab with those remarks. Coming in late, like she's a company executive or something.
クリスチャン、トゥットゥルー。
やってくるなりこの俺に生意気な口を叩くお前は助手ではないか。
助手じゃない。何度も言わせるな。だいたい痛い毛で気弱そうな女の子をおもちゃにして調子に乗ってるなんて最低だわ。そう思わないの？
痛い毛で気弱そうな女の子をおもちゃにするだと？
いちいち反応するな、変態。
Please get me out of this conversation. Part-time warrior asks, "What's going on? Sounds like you're having fun up there. Was that a girl's scream I heard? You're not doing something dirty, are you? You Tokyo people have loose sexual morals? I don't really understand that stuff." Okay, what are our options? What, do you want to join the lab? Something tells me you're just looking for an excuse to skip work. Don't worry, that wasn't a girl screaming. Gosh. Or it sounds like you have overactive imagination. Or is it wishful thinking, I wonder? This one's just way too creepy. I'll go with this one. Oh, so also the fact that as of this chapter there's now different endings means that up until now the choices we made for if we answer a call, what we respond to a text message, if we even answer a call, or respond to a text message, they only mattered in terms of Steam achievements. From now on, these actually can change the ending. That's right, Christina doesn't know Lukako's a guy. Correcting it is a pain, so I don't say anything.
それにしても
クリスティーナよ。ルカコの全身を下から上へと寝め回すようにして見つめるのはよせ。
してないわよ、そんなこと。
クリスちゃん、どうかなこのコス。ルカ君にすごく似合ってるって思うでしょ。
これが噂に聞くジャパニメーション文化の一つ、コスプレなのか。とてもキュートね。キュートだなんて、そんな。
Lukako's eyes get wetter and wetter.
どうしてそんなに悲しそうなの？あなたはとても可愛いんだから、もっと自信を持つべきよ。
Chrissy doesn't know, so she's not doing it intentionally. I guess that makes things complicated for Lukako. I should change the topic for Lukako's sake. While I am a mad scientist, I also happen to be a perfect gentleman. No, sir, you are not. You are very far from being a perfect gentleman. You're very far from either of those things. I comb back my hair with my fingers.
お前の望みを聞こう。
ハイパーアクロバティックな会話のつなげ方だな。
聞けルカコ。思考は具象化する。そしてこの日本は言霊の国。一旦下に乗せた言葉には力が宿る。お前も晴れてオタク世界の住人となった今、 はっきり望みを言葉に出しておくべきだ。そうすればこの地の混沌がシュタインズゲートの選択に影響を及ぼし、お前を後押しする。
Chaos can grant wishes, apparently.
ですか？
Lukako puts his hands together in front of his waist and bends his head slightly to the side. Cheeks turn light pink. Yes, chaos, I say. His bashful, squirming appearance with wet, upturned eyes would make anyone who saw him either want to hug him real tight or smack him upside the head. It's that damn powerful. You don't want chaos to grant wishes?
その聞いても笑いませんか？
恥ずべきことは何もない。堂々と宣誓するのだ。
そりゃ世界を混沌にうんたらとか言ってるバカに比べればどんな願い事も恥ずかしくはないわな。
Chaos is going to envelop the world, or whatever.
そこの助手、人の望みを笑うとは品性が知れるぞ。
マユシーの願い事はね、美味しいものをお腹いっぱい食べることと、ウーパグッズでラボを埋め尽くすことと、ルカ君にコスを着てもらうこと。
It sounds like 3 wishes already.
マユリには聞いていない。
マユシーのお願いもショタインザゲートに後押ししてほしいよ。
ショタインザゲートってその間違い方神レベルだろう。なんかそこはかとなくインモラルな香りが。
Daru, can you butt out of this, please? We all ignore Daru. Please, Daru, we're ignoring you. Take the hint. Lukako puts his hand to his mouth and casts his eyes down. Same gesture as a female junior confessing her love to a male senior underneath a cherry tree. Cuteness overload must resist.
女の子になりたいです。
はい。
Chris the first to react. Her expression is one of utter confusion. Well, that's only natural. But even I expected that, so I accidentally swallow my... I cannot do his laugh justice.
自分の顔あんまり好きじゃなくて、だからもし女の子になれれば少しは自信が出るかなって昔から思ってたんです。
So, he has no confidence in himself. Prettier than any girl here, yet he has no confidence. Well aware of the reason for this. Because he's a guy.
待て、ちょっと待って。
Chrissy starts rubbing her temples.
彼女は何を言ってるの？
我が助手よ。いや、クリスティーナよ。
Hey Razor, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
助手でもクリスティーナでもないと言っとろうが。
お前は決定的な間違いを犯している。
間違い？
わからないか、クリスティーナ。わからないだろうな。それはお前の目が邪念で曇っているからに他ならない。
どういうことよ。
ならば教えよう。お前はここにいるルカ子のことを痛い気で気弱そうな女の子と言ったが、 こいつは女の子ではない。男だ。
何の冗談だそれ。
冗談も何もアカシックレコードにも明記してある揺らぐことなき真実だ。
Alright, what is this historic? Oh, it's not even a historic reference. Database in which every event in the whole universe from past futures recorded. Not in vinyl. Thanks. Can I get it in magnetic tape? He looks at Dara and Mayuri as if seeking help, but they nod with a knowing look in their eyes. As for Lukako himself, he's hanging his head in shame.
これは釣られてもいいネタ？
え？
え？
Suddenly turns away as if to avoid my gaze. He walks up to Lukako.
漆原さん、岡部の言ってることは本当なの？
はい、僕男です。
嘘だ。こんな可愛い子が男の子のはずが。
いや、逆。それを言うならこんな可愛い子が女の子のはずがないだし。
そういう意味で言ったんじゃなくて。
Does that mean Chrissy knows the meaning of the phrase "someone this cute can't be a girl"? Though she is an @channeler.
ルカ子よ。ありのままのお前でいればいいのだ。
Razor, thank you for the 100 bits. 100 unnecessary bits.
お前を否定しない。同時にお前の望みもまた俺たちは否定しない。
いちいち俺たちって言い直さなくてもよくね？
Chrissy, unable to calm down after learning the truth, starts touching her own face and checking her hair in her pocket mirror.
あたふたしているな、クリスティーナ。自分よりずっと女の子らしい男がいたことがそれほどショックか？
認めるわ。私は彼女じゃなくて彼に比べれば乱暴な言葉遣いだし態度も悪いし可愛げもない。これってショックで3日は寝込むレベルよ。
Looks like she's seriously depressed.
クリスちゃんも可愛いよ。
フォローはいらない。ますます惨めになるから。
Waiting for Mayuri to pull out just another costume. Thank you for that, Razor, but I disagree it was not necessary. But I thank you anyways for your compliments.
いずれ強くなる。クリスティーナよ。
And yeah, it's hard for me to make a lot of the Australian people streams too. Like some people, I'll catch like the last hour or something. Like a lot of the times, like unless I wake up at 3 a.m. and can't go to sleep, I really don't catch a whole lot of people's streams from Australia.
あんたに説教される言われはないぞ。
前言撤回だ。己の欠点すら顧みようとしないとは器の小さいやつめ。
うるさい。あんたが言うな。
ごめんなさい。僕が変なこと言ったせいで。
Lukako bows his head for some reason. Eyes are red and puffy. Such a cute girl or boy on the verge of tears. Chris and I have no choice but to stop arguing.
さて、僕の愛用のデジカメはと。
おもむろに撮影会の準備を始めるな、変態。
先生、ローアングラーになりたいです。
Still, it was just a whim to ask for Lukako's wish. I hardly expected this to happen. That's how Lukako thinks of himself.
しかしルカコ、
Yes, Emesis, there have been some more
そ
bits.
の望みどこまで本気なのだ？
If he's truly desperate, then having a sex change operation is probably the best way to go. Judging by his current looks, Lukako could become the star of Tokyo's LGBT community. No, screw that. He could even become a TV personality.
例えば夜眠りについて朝目覚めたら女の子になっていたみたいな、そういうのが
Yeah, time zones are rough. I'm always sad when I wake up and I look at and I'm like, oh, I missed all of these people.
夢見すぎですよね。
Stop it with those puppy dog eyes. Are you that chihuahua from a certain popular commercial?
ルカ君、かわいいね。So cute.
This is really not how I expected the first, hour of this stream to go. Looks like Chrissy's been struck by Lukako's cuteness too. The skimpy costume he's wearing isn't helping. Like dunking your brain in a vat of pure moe, then you die. The scary part is that afterwards, you feel an irresistible urge to grant Lukako's every wish. As Lukako said, it's going to be hard to find a nice, clean solution to his problem. And then, Chrissu clears her throat.
そういえば聞いたことがあるんだけど、
解説セリフ来たこれ。
お肉をたくさん食べれば男の子を、野菜をたくさん食べれば女の子を産むことができるっていう俗説があるらしい。
ソースは民名書房？
Fictional publishing house from certain manga. Steins needs to invent some sort of no sleepy, stay awakey stuff. I think that's just called caffeine.
インターネットで見た。
そういう返しをするとは、お主やるな。
何のこと？
Anyway, it sounds like an old wives' tale.
知らなかった。じゃあマユシーのママもクリスちゃんのママもたくさんお野菜食べたんだね。
Only Mayuri is impressed.
マユシーはジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンばっかり食べてるから、将来子供を産むときは男の子なのかな。ねえねえ、バナナはお野菜に含まれると思う？
Mayuri is full of questions. I'll leave her to them.
それなら狩猟で暮らしていた原始人たちはどうなるのだ？彼らはおのずと男ばかり産むことになり、男女比のバランスが偏ってしまうではないか。
So what you're saying is if I just drink coffee forever, you won't need to sleep? God. Please do not drink too much coffee. There is a limit when coffee starts to become detrimental to your health. I think it's after 4 cups in a day. Something like that.
そうなれば人類がここまで繁栄できていたかも怪しい。
別にそれが正しいって言ってるわけじゃない。なんとなく思い出しただけよ。いちいち噛みつかないで。
俺は噛みついてなどいない。クリスティーナよ、その説検証してみる気はないか？
どういうこと？
思い出せ。俺たちの手には電話レンジカッコ仮があるではないか。
電話レンジちゃん？チーンってしたら男の子か女の子かわかるの？
No way in hell.
いや、あ、
looks like Chrissy's got it. Don't call her a genius for nothing. Yeah, I know there's a number. There's also a number, because if you have too much caffeine, it will kill you. The number is, like, ridiculous in, like, the, whatever, several thousand cups of coffee in a single day. There is a website. It's called something like howmuchcoffeewillkillme.com. Or how much caffeine will kill me, something like that. And you can go down by drink and see like how many whatever cans of Coke or Red Bulls or whatever it would take to for your like heart to explode. You're really bad at this extension, but you're willing to blame it on the devs. Always blame it on the devs. Devs never want to do things the right way. I can vouch for that.
漆原さんのお母さんが妊娠中の時期へ D メールを送るのね。
Unless doing it the right way saves them more time and headache than doing it the wrong way. See, I don't actually drink coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker. But yeah, some way that humans could live without sleep. Maybe in the future we'll have like little like pods that you'd see in like some sci-fi show, and you can just like go in for half an hour or something. Because like the main point of sleep are to when your story instructions are don't do anything illegal, stick strictly to the books, don't expect someone who plays literally to not do something to perma-stuck.
いかにも野菜をもっとたくさん食べろという内容でな。
Lukako, who doesn't know what D-mails are, and Mayuri, who's just a little dumb, tilt their heads in confusion at the same time.
やってみる価値はあ
You're
ると思わない
perma-stuck, you've deleted the files necessary to complete the objective, with no option to quit the objective. Oh, is this one of those things that's like a bit meta where you have to like play with the install itself to do stuff?
それは
今さら偽善で取り繕おうとするなよクリスティーナ。俺は知っているぞ。お前がマッドサイエンティスト
No,
の
it's
素
just a
質を
computer
持つ
simulation, you think?
実験
Okay.
大好きっ子だということ。
誰が実験大好きっ子だ。
違うのか？
Why are you getting mad at being told you love experimenting?
違わないけれども。
Yeah, rest the brain, de-stress, and to like reorganize stuff in your brain and just let your body heal. What is this REM and why don't you ever get it? I think so. My partner recently got a Fitbit, and it has the sleep tracking. So we've been watching like her sleep tracking, and what's supposed to go from I think is like awake, asleep, deep sleep, REM, and then repeat that cycle, those three until you wake up. But if you're like a light sleeper, you might not get to some of those cycles, or you'll wake up partway through it. That settles it.
ちょい待ち。それでもし実験が成功したらどうするん？
どうするとは？
だってルカ氏の性別がマジで変わっちゃうってことじゃん。
You're not a light sleeper necessarily, you just can't stay asleep. Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't remember the exact order of the cycle. I think it's light, deep, REM, and then repeat, or it might reverse out. It might be light, deep, REM, deep, light.
それがルカ子の望みだろ？
いやーそうだけど、もし性別が変わったらルカ氏が生きてきた16年間の歴史が改変されるんじゃねってこと。それについて誰が責任取る？
それは
責 責任は僕が。
Lukako raises his hand timidly.
マジで言ってる？
よくわからないんですけど、その方法を使えば女の子になれるかもしれないんですよね。だったら試してみたいです。どうかお願いします、師匠。
Bows his head to me.
マユリ、お前の意見は？
ルカ君が女の子になっちゃったらね、今度からはルカちゃんって呼ばないとダメだね。
Is that really all you think of?
ルカちゃんはマユシーのコス着てくれる？それとこれとは話が。
You have bouts of insomnia, so recently had to use sleeping tablets to force yourself to sleep. Rough but works, and body clock is slowly adjusting. Yeah, I've heard from a couple people. I have like family members that also have insomnia. My dad likes having a white noise machine. He finds that helps. My brother's has magnesium tablets. One of his doctors recommended that. And he's found that's helped him somewhat. I've also known people who find weighted blankets help. Blackout curtains help a lot of people. Or the like sleep mask kind of things. I think it's something else. Typically, stay asleep for most of the night. You never feel rested. Lately, you've been waking up in the middle of the night for a couple seconds. Yeah, lately I've been getting the same thing, Samus, is where I've been waking up in the night for just like a minute or two here and there. And yeah, I do find that often means I'm less rested. But I personally don't know what I could be doing about it, like what's causing me to wake up. Oh yeah, calming music or stories. I can't remember whose chat I was in, but it was like earlier this week, and someone had tried putting on like music to help you sleep, and then they had a nightmare where only they could hear the music, and then they're like, well, I guess I'm never playing that music again because that was scary. At any rate, it doesn't look like Mayuri has any objections.
決まりだな。ならばルカ子よ、お前をラボメンナンバー006に命じる。電話レンジカッコ仮は我がラボの最重要機密事項だ。それを使う以上、お前はラボメンとならなければならない。
Yeah, I can only think of one time where I've like heard a noise and it's like incorporated itself into my dream. So I used to work at a summer camp. That's where Mim and I met, and so I was a camp counselor. And there was one night where I had a child in my cabin who got a lot of nosebleeds. So he woke up in the middle of the night and he was just like, oh, I'm bleeding, because I guess he could like, like you could feel it, like all the stickiness and like hard to breathe, all that kind of stuff. So in my dream, I was in an elevator with a robot, and for whatever reason the elevator was booby-trapped, and like spikes came out and pierced the robot, and the robot started going, I'm bleeding, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, robots don't have blood, they can't bleed. And then I woke up First time you can remember was Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall.
そうだったの？言ってくれればよかったのに。
Oh, like you were listening to Another Brick in the Wall, and part of it came into your dream?
言い出す勇気がなくて。それに僕、さっきも言ったんですけど、機械のことさっぱりわからないですし。そんなこと気にしなくていいんだよ。だってね、マユシーもさっぱりだもん。
It's not something to be proud of, Mayuri.
では
Had the radio on and that interrupted your dream got really weird.
異論のある者はいない
Yeah.
な
I used to have like a lot of like recurring kinds of dreams. Like I'd have the dream like once a month or every like 6 months, something like that. And like sometimes the dreams would go like a little bit further than last time. And more often than not, they were nightmares. You had that happen to you? Clock ticking or the train that used to pass your house? Just like repetitive stuff that had been happening for days, months, but usually not noticeable. Yeah, there's a train that passes by my house at like 1:30 a.m. and it sometimes wakes me up. I don't think it's ever made its way into my dream, but it's hard to say, because like I've had dreams where like I'm like going to work or something, and the train's just a part of that dream. But maybe that's like subliminally coming into my dream at that point.
はーい。
Risu raises her hand.
私、ラボ面ナンバー004を返上したいので、代わりに漆原さんを004にしてあげて。
却下だ。他には？
はあ。
Irene Daru ask what happened to 005, but I ignore them. Moako will always be 005 in my heart. No other objections emerge. All members are in favor.
ではルカ子はラボ面ナンバー006となる。以後ラボに忠誠を誓い、ラボの発展のために全力を尽くせ。
とっても嬉しいです。
さて、ということで早速実験を。
Subconscious stuff is quite strange. Seen people in your dreams. Don't remember ever seeing, but obviously you have. Yeah, that's the thing, is like every single person in your dream, the face comes from someone you've met, even if it's just like in passing, because your brain while sleeping just doesn't have enough like energy or imagination, like whatever, because it's trying to like restore itself to actually like imagine something new for a face. Wait. I suddenly realized something that makes me smack my forehead in dismay.
始まった。ルカ子は今16歳だったな。
はい。
つまり1993年生まれ。
そうだよ。マユシーと同い年なのです。
Same year as myself, too. In order to tell Lukako's mother to eat a lot of vegetables, we need to send a D-mail to 10 months before Lukako was born, meaning we have to send it to 1992.
携帯が日本で普及し始めたのはいつだ？
Like Chris and Daru figured it out. Daru goes to Google it.
96年ぐらいっぽい。メール機能が実装さ
Have
れ
you
る
ever
のは
had
さらに
lucid
遅いかも。
dreams? I've had one. It was terrifying. Basically, in my dream, I had the like feeling of like being in my body, but like can't move kind of thing because you're paralyzed. And I was just like looking off the side of my bed at the wall, and like a demon just started coming out of the wall and like started slowly walking towards me. And I'm, you know, of course I'm like freaking out, and I like eventually force myself awake. That's the only one I've had.
つまりルカ子の生まれた年の時点では携帯は一般化されてないということ。ルカ子の母親も持っていない可能性がある。もしそうならメールを受け取ってもらう手段が存在しないではないか。
ああ、そっか。ダメなんですか？
Lukako's face darkens. I fold my arms in thought. Some way to receive email. An era when cell phones weren't yet widespread.
こうなったら毒電波を飛ばせるよう改造するとか。
Send crazy waves? From what I've heard, if you have a lucid dream, you are paralyzed. You have sleep paralysis, because I think if you're in REM sleep, there's one of them. It's either REM sleep or deep sleep. One of them, you're always paralyzed for it. It just, usually you don't notice it because you're asleep and it doesn't really affect your dreams. I think I heard at one point too that you've ever had like a dream where you're like running or trying to do something and it doesn't work. So like for me, I always have dreams where like I'm driving a car and the brakes don't work. It's because like your body is trying to make your like foot move, but it physically can't because you're paralyzed in your sleep.
ちょっとやばい人たちだけがユンユンと受信できるんだ。電波っつうか、電波？特に春先によく見られる。
Daru, stop.
毒されてるのはあんたの脳みそだろ。
Timestamp. That 9:32 p.m. message. It's 7 a.m.
いいよ。もっと罵ってくれて OK だよ。
だったら
Daru.
手紙をタイムカプセルに入れて埋めるっていうのは？
You've had lots of dreams like that, like stalemate when you try and run, drive, or anything. Yeah, but just repeats. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot with running. I get it with driving cars. I don't think I really have it with running though.
それじゃあ過去じゃなくて未来に行っちゃうわ。
こうなったらあれだ。ルカ氏が雷に打たれるとか、それで性別転換。古臭いコミックとかアニメで手垢がついてそうだけど。
D メールを使わなきゃ実験の意味ないでしょ。脱線しないで。
じゃあクリスちゃんのナイスアイデアにマユシーは期待です。
Lucid, I think, is supposed to be you're dreaming and it feels like you're awake. And yeah, usually you have some kind of control over it, and you can travel outside of your body. At least that's what I remember. Yeah, I think you'd have to be aware that you're asleep to to have control over it. I think you can always have some kind of control over a dream if you know it's a dream. I don't think you can always have full control over it. Yeah, 'cause I can have like a bit of control. Usually that control is to force myself to wake up because I don't want to have this dream. But I've had other ones where it's like I had one where it was like a recurring nightmare, and like I knew if I opened this door there was going to be like a murderer behind it. And then there was one time I was like, I forced myself to not open the door, and then forced the killer to not open the door too. It was weird. Like I knew there was a killer behind the door, but none of us opened it. You've been able to manipulate some things, but usually you'll attempt to do something but not be able to. Yeah. Like, sometimes you can try and, like, I don't know, influence it, like, give it suggestions, it just doesn't always follow it.
私はそうね、高速を事情倍ほど上回るロケットを開発すればあまりの速さに時間が逆行してとか。
自分だって電話レンジのこと念頭に置いてないじゃんか。
しかもこの天才少女め、今自ら相対性理論を否定したぞ。
単なる冗談でしょ。本気にしないで。
Lucid dreaming is like playing AI Dungeon. Sometimes it works really well, other times it ignores you to tell its own narrative.
まったく、どいつもこいつも使えないな。
だったら自称 IQ170 の灰色の脳細胞、狂気のマッドサイエンティスト法王院さん、代案をどうぞ。
ふむ、頭の片隅でひらめきつつあるぞ。
ひらめけの精神だな。
Sensation. Yes, my natural mad scientist inspiration is about to explode.
思いついた。
Yeah, we don't even like fully understand sleep, let alone dreams. Had weird dreams. You follow a road back to your hometown, you remember all the roads, you traveled them 1,000 times. Yeah, I always love when you like wake up from a dream and you're like, that made absolutely no sense. Like, I took this road to get home, and then you're like, that road doesn't connect to home. Or like, in my dream I'm like, oh, I'll take the subway home, and I'm like, wait, the subway doesn't go to my house. The subway stops like 15 kilometers from my house. I have to take the other train. All eyes focus on me. Broad grin, I proclaim.
携帯がなければポケベルに送ればいいじゃない。
Okay. For all the kids watching this, we're gonna learn about pagers. An early method of receiving wireless messages. Supported text data after 1990s. The nonsense ones are good, but also sometimes crazy. Okay, so one of the like recurring nightmares I've had that makes absolutely no sense, but I've had it probably at least like 3 or 4 times in my life, is the house I currently live in used to belong to my dad's dad, and then when his wife died, he moved out and sold it to us. And in my dream, we were like just moving into the house, and we're like checking it out, because you know, like when we moved in here, I was like 3. I think in my dream I was more like 10, but whatever, it doesn't make sense. It's a dream. So we're like exploring the house, and my dad goes into the basement, and he's like, "Hey, my mom's back from the dead. She's a zombie." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I like look down the stairwell to see my grandma eating my dad, leading an army of dead up the stairwell. And then I hide behind the door to the bathroom, and that's how my dream ends. And I'm like... And then I wake up and I'm like, what the nuts brain? Like, what is this? Yeah, and I'd have that dream probably about every, I don't know, 6 months for a couple of years. Yeah, that's a no from you. You miss the days when you would dream in sagas. I also love when I'm dreaming something and I wake up and I'm like, no, that dream was so good, and then I go back to sleep and the dream continues. I'm like, yes, it worked. About 22 hours have passed since I made my mind-blowingly awesome proclamation.
こんにちは。
Luca enters the lab shyly, just as he did yesterday. Gives me a bashful smile when our eyes meet.
お母さん、ポケベルを持ってました。
Oh, you'd hate that because you get nightmares when you wake up and fall. Yeah, as a very young child, I had that happen to me like a couple times, where I had a dream I was in the change room at like my local swimming pool, and the swimming pool flooded, and I'm like in there, and there's like a vent on the ceiling, and I'm like holding on to it, like trying to like gasp for air, and I must have been like screaming in my sleep because I remember like one of my parents came in and was like it's okay, you know, it was a dream, and I was like, you know, like 3-year-old me was like no, don't leave, it felt so real, and they're like it's fine, and then I went back to sleep and it just continued, and I'm like you learn how to force yourself to stay awake for 5 minutes so you can guarantee it wouldn't happen. Sleep is such a weird thing. Like when I worked at a summer camp, I trained myself to wake up if we had these like basically it was a wooden floor with like wooden sides and then like a canvas around it with tent flap kind of things, and it had like little wooden steps leading up into it so you were off the ground so it wouldn't like flood or whatever. And I trained myself that as soon as anyone stepped on any of those steps, I would wake up. And then after that, I got home and I realized I had also, like, subliminally trained myself that if people are standing outside the door to my room, I would also wake up. So, like, just before anyone ever entered my room, if, like, for whatever reason someone's coming into my room to wake me up for something, I always wake up before they come in. So, there's weird things you can do to yourself with sleep and, like, train yourself to do. It's weird. Parents are like, no, you're fine. Meanwhile, back in the dream, I'm fighting Jason Freddy, famous actor Hugh Jackman. They're like, it's fine. Jackman will kill them, and then you. It'll be fine. You love when you wake up a short time before something happens, like no sign or thing, you just wake up and then someone gets up or walks by. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I trained myself to do that. It just happened, but it was such a great thing, because it's like anytime someone wanted to come talk to me, like I was awake, and if like whatever kids were like going out to the bathroom or something, like I knew people were coming in and out, and it was just like good peace of mind that I would wake up and know like, oh, this kid left, oh, they came back, and like not like they left and then they just never come back.
ルカシ女の子バージョンか。燃えるの確定。
Ayuri, Krisu, and Daru are already on standby. Okay, so here's the level of time travel stuff we've done. Tried to win 3rd place in the lottery. Tried to convince someone not to buy a new cell phone. And then we went from like level 2 to level 10 and be like, change someone's gender. You wonder if part of your sleep issues you don't go through a wake-up phase, you're instantly awake. I'm almost basically the same thing Samus is. I am a morning person for sure, and like when I wake up, I am awake. It's really rare for me to like wake up, like my alarm goes off, and then go back to sleep. It's super rare for me, and like my alarm goes up, or my alarm goes off, and I like shut off, and I'm like immediately out of bed, like doing something kind of deal. How has the time stuff affected the timeline? So, the first one, we sent ourselves the winning lottery tickets for the 3rd place because we didn't want to be too suspicious. And we told someone to buy the ticket. We gave them the correct numbers, but they put one of them wrong when they were filling out the lottery ticket thing. So we won 4th place, which was, I think I did the conversion, it would have been about $50 or something like that. And the second time, when this girl had bought a new cell phone, and then she's like, actually I don't want it, can we go back in time and make it so I didn't buy the cell phone? We haven't seen her since. We know she exists because we texted her, because we're like, where the heck are you? But also none of our friends remember her, so changing her cell phone has done enough that she never actually came to the lab and like showed herself to our friends. Well, you see, Razor, as time stuff happens, the timeline has time stuff happen. She's not dead, we don't know what's happened to her. Either she's alive and we met her, but she just doesn't show up, or someone's faking her identity. You wish you had that option when you bought phones? Yesterday we argued about whether it's even possible. Eventually we settled on probably. Data is data, after all. The rest depends on the pager radio wave stations 8 years ago. But it should be fine as long as our data gets through safely. Already googled how to send data to a pager. For the pages back then, you would first enter the other person's pager number, then if in the Kanto region, enter *2*2. After that, you would enter the numbers to send. That's how it worked, apparently. I did not. I said data. I could say data or data. Usually if I'm talking about it, I'll be consistent, but if you ask me one day and another day, I might actually change the pronunciation. Yeah, to go back and make another choice, not the whole be alive thing. I might, Samus, I might. Usually I say data, that's my go-to, but I do catch myself saying data sometimes. But I mainly say data because, like, I'll say database, I won't say database. I find that too awkward. Pagers in 1992 could still only send numbers. Phone number display functions were also yet to be implemented, so your number was hidden from the other person by default. A few years after that, pagers started to implement Japanese character displays, enabling functionality similar to that of email. I'm blatantly wrong in how I pronounce database. Data, Darda, Tomata, Tomata. Yeah, there's... Who's pronouncing it Darda? There's a lot of words where, like, I get to it and I hear someone say it for the first time, like, garage, and the first time I heard someone pronounce it garage, or garage, like, or actually, the British way of saying aluminum to me always gets me, aluminium. That's one that, like, I just hear it and I'm like, no. You pronounce it as garage, not garage. Or gar-age. Therefore, the Gmail Lukako is about to send. It's technically not a mail, though. It has to be sent in numerical form. Naturally, I have a conversion table for that on hand. Other way around. You say garage, not garage. I disagree with your pronunciation, Sam. It's carriage, garage. That's even more wrong to me. Garage. You can find information even from 18 years ago if you just Google it. Pretty worried by the lack of information on pagers at first, but that's my little secret.
漆原さん、 あとは過去のお母さんに向けての文章をあ
I
なた
pronounce
自
it
身で考えて。
car house.
僕がですか？
自分の夢を叶えたいなら自分自身で道を切り開くがいい。俺たちがしてやれるのはその強払い程度のことだけだ。
わかりました。
Hello, Synchrono. Synchrono. How are you doing? Explain to Lukako the function of the phone wave. Name subject to change. Just vibing. It's good to hear. The numbers we're sending are 1-byte characters, so we can send 36 of them. Pager's number-to-number conversion system uses 2 numbers to correspond to 1 Japanese character. Furthermore, since you need to input *2*2, that means you can only send 16 hiragana characters. Lukako, understanding everything, takes out a notebook to begin writing drafts for the pager message. Show Lukako the site I found. It reads, pager number and letter conversion. Ah yes, number to number, the most useless redundant system. Pager typing is commonly known as two-touch typing, or pager input. Somewhat different from cell phone input. You choose the consonant and then input the vowel. The consonants are... Really gonna make me read out all the consonants? Fine, game. A, K, S, T, N, H, M, Y, R, W. The vowels are A, E, U, E, O. Basically, to input K, E, press 2 to input the consonant K. And then we ignore the rest of this conversation to check our mail. From Ferris, sign of increasing misfortune. It reads, oh no, he escaped Nya. If you don't find him and kill him, misfortune shall fall upon Akiba Nya. His name is End of Tutorial. He's small and nimble and cries choo choo Nya. Come here quick, Ferris needs your help, Nya. Watched the anime, thought of getting the visual novel, but broke beyond belief. Yeah, I was in the same boat. I watched the anime. I absolutely loved it. It's in my top 10 anime of all time. And just in general, I have a rule with Steam that unless a game is 50% or less, on sale for, or 50% off or more, sorry. So 50 to 100%, if it ever gets to 100%, is when I buy it. With like very rare cases where a friend's like, yes, I want to play this game with you, then I'll make exceptions for them. The emails are more important than anything else. Okay, so we have 2 options. Let's read through them. So we can say, a rat? What kind of cat girl is afraid of rats? You disappoint me, Ferris Nyan Nyan. Or, I can help, but it won't be cheap. I mean, we need the money. We're definitely having our rent raised this month, so, there we go. Then you press 4 for the vowel E.
結構めんどいな。僕はてっきり831831831って打てばいいんだとばかり思っていたよ。
If that's a reference, I do not get that reference. Just change the timeline in such a way that your landlord dies and leaves the apartment to you in his will.
どうして831？
I don't know what we would have to do to make our landlord have to want to give us this apartment. And also, Mayuri is going to ask the question I want to know.
831で野菜じゃん上皇。野菜野菜野菜ってのルカシのお母様の頭にすり込めばいいのかと。
Okay, he's already done number conversions to figure out the word veggies.
そんなメッセージではいたずら扱いされるだけだ。
だったら29292929っていうのは
Do I plan on playing Steins Gate 0? Probably at some point. It's not currently in my library, and I actually don't think I've added it to my Steam wishlist. I should do that. So yeah, this game has interested me quite a bit, so I think I will end up playing them, just it probably won't be for a while.
一応聞いてやるが、どういう意味だ？
肉
肉好きにさせてどうする？
違うよ。それだけ肉って連呼されたらね、逆にお肉見るのも嫌になって野菜を食べようって気になるかもしれないよ。
あるはねえよ。
Lukako completes his composition while we speak our nonsense.
こういう
At least you recognize it's nonsense.
母さん野菜をたくさん食べてね。
Mom, eat veggies, okay.
そのまま過ぎじゃね？
冒頭の母さんは不要だろう。余計な疑念を抱かせるだけだ。
The bargain would be, please pay my rent, bro. Doing a Halo 2 Legendary run, your soul is being ripped. The Halo collection is one I've had on my Steam list. It's wish list. It's fairly low though. It's something I feel like I should play. Like Halo is like it's a pretty iconic game. I feel like I should play through it at some point.
So, 野菜をたくさん食べると女の子を産めます。
ひねりすぎるのもね。それに文字数オーバーしてるわよ。
野菜食べると元気な子を産める。
ちょい待ち。この変換表によると濁点も数字2個で表現しないとダメっぽい。その文章だと半角4文字オーバーする。
ならば少し改変だ。野菜食うと元気な子を産めるでどうだ？
Eat veg for healthy kid.
言い方が下品じゃない？
Yeah, this part of the game will
相手は
not
漆原さんのお母さん
translate
でしょ？
well.
食うとの部分通じるかな？
ならば代案を出してもらおうか。
Yeah, any part of these games where they're trying to like fit in text into the whatever this was 36 byte limit, he's gonna have some hard translation bits. Chrissy shrugs her shoulders and says no more. Then it's settled.
じゃあ早速打ってみようよ。
Sending to a pager, the number encoded message is handled like a telephone number. Enter the input into the X68000. *2 813112231345240322512502137 The long random-looking string of numbers is complete.
よし、準備万端 OK だ。
Now we just activate the phone wave, name subject to change. Have Lukako call. Microwave timer set to 154,152 seconds. It arrive around January 1st, 1993. Margin of error is around 1 to 3 days, I guess. Leap year calculation's a pain, so I ignored it. Lukako's slender finger starts to tremble on top of the enter button.
いいか起動するぞ
Lukako looks at me with tears in his eyes, then nods faintly. Discharge phenomenon soon occurs. Lukako... Oh, right. Lukako does not know how this is gonna turn out. He did not expect lightning to just shoot out of this microwave. Non is love, non is life. If you add garlic butter on top of that, then yes. Garlic non is love. Spent nearly 3 hours on the mission Grave Mine. You hate it as much as the library on H1. I have not played Halo. Those unfortunately do not mean much to me, but 3 hours on one mission sounds like a very long time. Lukako flinches and takes a step back, but then I see determination flare in his eyes. He sets his jaw and pushes the enter button. We have changed the world. Wave of dizziness hits me again. Place a hand on the table to support myself. The dizziness slowly fades. Little by little, color returns to the world. Reading Steiner activated again. The world line change. I look around the room. Unlike what happened with Moeka, Lukako's still here. Blushes when he notices my stare.
岡部さん、そんなに見ないでください。
I fold my arms and tilt my head. Lukako's appearance hasn't changed a bit. Camera, we don't need the zoom. I'm paying particular attention to his eyes. And his eyes, and his eyes. As a guy, it's natural for him to have no eyes. But if he's a girl now, then that's a different story. That washboard isn't tiny eye level, it's no eye level.
これは失敗か
Yes, Samus says we're talking a lot about his eyes. To eat lots of vegetables to give birth to a girl thing Percy talked about was nothing but fringe science. What kind of scientists believe such a flimsy theory anyway?
失敗って何が？
Everyone, including Lukako, looks at me in confusion.
何言ってお前たち揃いも揃ってボケているのかたった今この電話レンジカッコ仮で
Do you have free rent for life? I don't think so now. Maybe that's next? I slap a hand over my mouth as soon as I start talking. That was careless of me. Our previous experiments proved the activation of reading Steiner means that the world line has changed. Maybe you found the secret to manipulating the timeline to get a free apartment? I'm the only one who carries his memories through the change. Nobody else here knows what we did.
いや何でもない
Afterwards, Mayuri and Lukako happily go out shopping for lunch at a neighborhood convenience store.
クリスティーナよ一つ聞きたいのだがルカ子は
There's a downside to remembering the changes. He has to like put the different world lines like in his head, like in that world this happened, in this world this happened. So he's already at what, four worlds of memories. The original, the lottery, the cell phone, And now the Lukako line.
今度はどんな変態的行為を考えてるんだ。あんたたち変態コンビは油断も隙もないな。
変態コンビじゃねえ。僕たちは変態紳士コンビだ。
Daru, no.
どうでもいい。ほんと、どうでもいい。
Damn, I can't ask now. It's really annoying that no one remembers. I want to think about how Chrissy might react if I suddenly ask is Lukako a girl. Just wait until I can get Lukako alone and then check that. No, that sounds like a horrible plan. But considering how his appearance hasn't changed at all, it's very likely that the sex change failed. In that case, what did Lukako's D-mail change? Just like the Mocha experiment, the result is different from what we expect. You expect you can change time, you can change the past, and it will go exactly how you expected. You are wrong, sir. The real problem is that we have no control. After I leave the lab, I head over to May Queen plus Nian Squared to think. He is now feeling the butterfly effect. Yep. So, I mean, the other things we did were really trivial, all things considered. Like, they only changed things in the past week or so, whereas this one went back in time 17 years. Daru sits in front of me, waiting impatiently for Ferris to bring our order.
D メールについてどう思う？
すごいような、すごくないような。
すごくないと思った理由は？
フェイリスタンとのライネット勝負の結果を改変できなかったお。
Okay, so he remembers the last... What was that? Oh, I guess this isn't just the fourth world line. I forgot about all the ones where he tried to... Oh no, because those all end up in the same. Never mind, that it was the same world line. But he remembers all the stuff about the Rynet matches. So he branched off of the third world line. That's a selfish reason.
何度かの実験で分かったが、D メールの精度はまだ信頼できるレベルには達していない。運の要素が絡んでくるのは装置としては欠陥だ。もっと送り手側がコントロールできるようにならなければ、実用性が低いままのガラクタに終わる。
Starters, there's the problem of how I'm the only one who can recognize the changes. Without my special power, we wouldn't even be able to check the results of the experiment. Ridiculous. Alright. Just for that, you're leaving? There might be other commands you might find enjoyable.
「確かに結果出てないよな。ロト6当てるって件はどうなったん？
I mean, yes, I know you enjoy blaming chaos.
保留中だ。
Hydrate. Thank you. There is your hydrate. Samus is taking a look at all the commands I see. I did a thing, did I? What did I do, Samus's? Samus's, you pushed the button. Dang it, I told you not to push that. I hope the world doesn't end. No, I think we're fine. Stop with the button scares. I was wondering how long it would take you to find that. I think I put that in about a month ago. Maybe not quite that long. 3 weeks, maybe? It's probably about the same time I put in Good Guy Chaos, which I don't think anyone's actually used, because we don't like Chaos here. That was after I found out you had a button command. Pretty well after that. Although it was Lukako's mistake that cost us the prize, he wouldn't have been in a position to make that mistake if I hadn't asked him to buy the ticket in my stead. Why did I do that? As if Steins Gate guided the money away from my grasp. Almost like history tries to guide you away from changing itself. If Chaos would show up for once, maybe we'd anti-braid him. Chaos has shown up a couple times, but it can be quite hard for him. Especially like my Monday night stream, you know, he would have been just up for beardies until whatever 4 or 5 a.m. I don't really blame him for that. And when Steins Gate, when it used to be on Fridays, it would have been the same issue. And I totally respect people who want to take like weekends off of Twitch. Yes, and time zones suck. Yes. No, I need to think positive.
この法院京馬ともあろう男がこんなところでつまずいていられるものか。俺は諦めたりはしない。なぜなら俺がマッドサイエンティストだからだ。
Take weekends, Tuesdays and Thursdays off, except for a couple of exceptions. This must be one of those exceptions. And Mim's stream is an exception. You don't take weekends off at all. We're ignoring you, Daru. We're checking our phone. From Mayuri. Sengoku cosplay. So, you want to cosplay as a warrior? Sengoku period? Alrighty, Mayushi will work extra hard to have something for Winter Kamima. I know you'll be popular with the girls. I'm not sure how to feel about that uwu-looking face. Well, from about 1 or 2 p.m. to 8:30, you're not on Twitch usually. On Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, for me, like a lot of time, I try and just have Twitch on in the background. So like earlier today, I was watching a couple different people play Fall Guys, but wasn't really interacting with them. Sundays are pretty much on from 11 to whenever Mim ends. Yeah, it's usually around somewhere between 5 and 6. Okay, let's look at our options for this. And say, wait, when did I say I'd cosplay? Did you email the wrong person? Or, Mayuri, don't tell me you plan to sell me out to the enemy? This sounds like us. Send.
あの電話レンジカッコ仮でゆくゆくは人間をそれも過去ばかりでなく未来にも向けて送り出すことができるように改良する改良してみせるいや改良しなくてはならないのだ
You're gonna head off, Sampses? Have a good night. In fact, I think I have a command for that. Aha! It doesn't do what you'd expect. What were you expecting out of curiosity? You think I was gonna, like, sleep? Hypnotize you? Ah, you thought it was like a lurk but for sleep. I mean, I guess it can be.
それがシュタインズゲートの選択なのだからな
Good night, Samuses. Ferris is standing right next to me. Where the hell did she come from? Well, I mean, you were laughing so loud, people next door could hear us. Samus just think that I should be going to bed now. I usually am in bed around, I would say, 11:15, 11:30-ish. Weekends I usually go maybe a little bit later to midnight. But don't worry, Samus, I will be in bed before midnight.
何言ってるのにゃ。京馬の声が大きすぎて店中に響き渡ってたにゃ。
What? No. Once again, I leaked classified information concerning the future of mankind.
アイスコーヒーとアイスティーと猫まんまお待たせしましたにゃ。
What does our cat food look like? Daru's order of cat food is one of this maid cafe's specialties. Not the usual miso over rice, but a stylish risotto instead. One of Daru's favorites. It's actually pretty tasty. Ferris places the iced coffee in front of me.
ミルクとかむしろは入れますかにゃ。
断る。
そんな京馬には全部入れちゃうにゃ。脳には適度な糖分が必要にゃ。
Despite my refusal, Ferris pours all of the milk and syrup into my glass.
にゃんにゃんにゃんにゃ。
Then, speaking some nonsense incantation, she mixes my iced coffee with a straw. The whole time she stares straight into my eyes.
出た。これぞフェイリスタンの秘技。目を見て混ぜ混ぜだ。
Eye contact mix mix? I'm just imagining that being on your resume. So, Miss, what is your specialty? You know, tell us some things you're good at. Eye contact while mixing drinks. Taru starts explaining in excitement.
普通ならドリンクをこぼさないようにするだけでも大変なはずなのに、フェイリスタンはそれを平然とやってのける。そこにしびれる、憧れる。この秘技により、フェイリスタンはメイクインにおける人気ナンバーワンメイドとして
Can't go
君
now.
臨してい
This
る
is too
のだ。
hilarious. Don't worry, Samus. If you're staying, I'm only planning on going for maybe like 15, 20 more minutes. I'm slightly convinced you're not leaving because a maid entered. Iced coffee in the glass changes from black to brown. Yeah, you can't leave during a cat-made cafe. Yeah, there it is. Damn, she's dragged me into her pace again. Next, Ferris performs the same secret technique on Daru, yet somehow is still just only looking into our eyes.
フェイリスタン、ありがとうございます。
Your eyes are
美味
literally
しくいただ
closed.
きます。
He bows deeply, such a polite man. He is not a man, as evidenced by basically every single time he opens his mouth. Take a sip of my iced coffee. Its bitterness and sweetness flow down my throat. I look up, I see Ferris standing next to me, silver tray in front of her waist.
なんだ。何か用事か。
続きを聞かせるにゃ。京馬とダルにゃ面白そうなお話してたにゃ。タイムマシンがどう
A
とか
little
って。
chit cat? Gosh. Ah.
フェイリス、とっても聞きたいにゃ。
Can we just send a message back in time to not come here and not have this conversation? Gives me a babyish look with upturned eyes. I don't know, to me that's the face of looking down on us. But I firmly reject her.
極秘事項だ。部外者には明かせん。
さっき店中に響き渡るぐらい大声で話してたのはどこの誰にゃ。
だ、
ダルにゃ。フェイリスに教えてほしいにゃ。
It's targeting Daru now. He will last about 0.3 seconds. Don't underestimate him, Ferris Nyan Nyan. Daru is my most trustworthy right-hand man. The wizard class super hacker. You won't be tricked into divulging classified information.
実はメールを過去に
Immediately
送れるっていう
tells her.
すげえマシンを作ったんだお。主に僕が。
And he's broken. Women are scary.
それってつま
Now
り
is it
タイム
women
マ
are
シン
scary
って
or
ことよ。
cat women are scary? Which is it?
そういうことになるかな。
タイムマシンを作ったなんてすっごいにゃ。フェイリスはダルニャンの頭の良さにキュン
Cat
と
made
しそうだに
women
ゃ
are scary. There we go. Is there anything else we can pile on top of that?
困ったな。
Cat made cafe women are scary. Dumbass. What's with that grin? He's not grinning, he's looks perplexed.
フェイリスはタイムマシンに乗って時間旅行
Pink
するのが
haired.
夢なのにゃ。
Pink-haired, pink-eyed.
僕がいつか連れてってあげるよ。
ダル、安請け合いするな。
ところで昔から疑問だったんやけど、時間ってどんなものなのかにゃ。
What is time?
何？
よく時間を川に例えて過去から未来に向かって流れてるとか言うにゃ。でも本当にそうなのかにゃ。
Are we gonna have a whole physics conversation about what is time? Yes, no more existential crises.
もし川の流れだとして過去と未来に挟まれた現在はどこにあるのにゃ。それは点なのか線なのか、そもそもどこからどこまでが現
I'm
在。
sorry, Sam says we're having an existential crisis.
そういえば漠然とイメージはあるけど真面目に考えたことはないな。
現在は川の上に浮かぶ葉っぱだ。それは過去から未来へと流れに沿って動いていく。
そんじゃその葉っぱに全ての人間が乗ってるって考えればいいのかにゃ。死んだら葉っぱから落ちるってことになるのにゃ。
そういうことだろう。その葉っぱのある地点より川の上流は過去、下流が未来と定義できる。
ふにゃー。でもその葉っぱは人間にとっての現在にゃ。
というと？
人間が時間に単位を作って観測してるから葉っぱは現在だってわかるにゃ。けど例えば全宇宙すべての生き物が絶滅しちゃった世界だと現在を観測できる存在がいなくなっちゃうと思うのにゃ。
Gosh.
その場
I
合
want to think
どこ
about
が現
this.
在になるのにゃ。
神様とか宇宙の意志とかが観測するんじゃね。
じゃあもしその神様が4次元的存在だとしたら過去にも未来にも自由に行けることになるにゃ。
お
その神様の現在が基準になるならフェイリスたちの現在も過去方向に行ったり未来方向に行ったりしないとおかしいにゃ。
むむむ。
つまり
We didn't come to this cafe for a discussion about
観測者
time.
の主観に委
Aim
ね
for
られ
cat girls.
と言いたいのか？
もしそうなら過去と未来も主観次第になっちゃうにゃ。もしタイムマシンでフェイリスが1週間前にタイムトラベルしたとしたらキョーマやダルニャンの現在とフェイリスの現在は1週間ずれちゃうにゃ。
そういえばそうだな。
だとしたらそのズレは葉っぱだとどうやって表現するのにゃ。
And cat girls know more about time-space continuum than the person building a time machine. Neither Daru nor I has an answer to that. Perhaps nobody has an answer. Like the collapse of causality thing that Christy mentioned. Maybe if the two of you actually went to your university classes instead of hanging out in your apartment the whole time. Does that mean that time machines and time travel are impossible? Why are you you've literally done it. Why are you doubting it? That CERN's jellified test subjects physically traveled as far back as 1921.
そもそも観測者の主観に委ねられるなら 時計は関係なくなっちゃうのにゃ。楽しい時間は早く過ぎるし、辛い時は時間が過ぎるのが遅く感じるにゃ。
Try telling
つ
your
まり
boss
時間だと
clocks are
時間の
meaningless.
流れ
I'm
は
sure it
変
won't
動し
end
ちゃう
well.
にゃ。
そういえばさ、年を取るにつれて時間の流れって早くなってるような気がするよな。
ジャネの法則だな。
Well, we get to learn. Well, 4D was just adding the 3 dimensions of space and adding time to it. Janet's Law. Perspective on the passage of time proposed by psychologist Janet. For some reason, as one ages, time seems to pass by more quickly. For example, 1 year is 1/7 of a 7-year-old's life, but only 1/70th of a 70-year-old's life. For this reasoning, the subjective length of time is inversely proportional to age. What if it isn't time travel? What if it's simply space travel that happens to be observable at a different time? Nemesis, why are you making me think too? I mean, if they've sent humans back in time, for that person at least, it's time travel. You've actually come up with a full theory to justify this?
とまあ、フェイリスはたまにそんなことを考えてるのにゃ。だから安易に時間を川の流れに例えるのはちょっと違うような気がするのにゃ。
考えれば考えるほどこんがらがってきたわな。
Well, I think time as a river is not a scientific model. It's just more of like a nice analogy, a mental image. The strict definition of time, similar to the question of where is the self, is one of humanity's eternal questions. Countless renowned scholars have left this question unanswered. No way amateurs like us can answer it. There's one thing I can do. Laugh? We can always laugh.
にゃにゃ。
案ずるな。俺たちが開発するタイムマシンはそういう哲学的であったり物理学的考察など関係なく時空跳躍を可能にしてしまうのだな。そうだよな、ダル。
そうそう、そういうこと。
にゃー。
You could also justify it by saying that there's simply no way to truly define time. Time is a social construct. There you go.
でもダルニャンたちの作ったタイムマシン、フェイリスも使ってみたいにゃ。ダメかにゃ。
Do I even want to know what you'd use our time machine for?
僕の権限ならフェイリスタンにも使わせてあげなくもないよ。
ほんとかにゃ。約束だにゃ。
That reminds you of your argument on why the sky isn't actually blue.
ダル、勝手なことをほざくな。
Bear springs up with joy and hugs Daru's rotund body. It's all it takes to make Daru look like he's died and gone to heaven. After killing some more time at May Queen, I leave Daru and head back to the lab. When I arrive, I find Chrissy sitting on the bench in front of the Brontube workshop talking on her phone.
何よそれ。日本に呼びつけておいて今さらそんな。そう。結局会うつもりなんかなかったんでしょ。
Why have we gone from something really lighthearted to you never want to see me again crying Chrissu? Blue is a description given by society to describe the observable color of the sky. If we take out the definition of color, then the sky can in fact be any color anywhere. All you have to do is change how you find visible light. And Deadbeard is here and is plagued with the thoughts of time. What if I perceive blue as indifferent to others? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things you can never prove as long as it's like a straight swap. Like to me, this can is like a yellowy orange, and as long as you have been told this color is like a yellowy orange, then you'll agree with me. But for all I know, it is the same color as my water bottle to you. I've accidentally opened the cell phone. The street is dark and her hair is covering her eyes, so I can't make out her expression. From the sound of her voice, I can tell that she's crying.
一体何がしたかったのよ。それすら教えてくれな。
Chrissy lifts her head in surprise. She must have noticed me. She falls into an awkward silence, then turns and walks away. It looked like she was crying. I wonder if she got into a fight. Who could have made her cry like that? Her boyfriend? Even a friendless, experiment-loving girl like her can get a boyfriend. No, there's no way such an arrogant, abusive girl can have a boyfriend. Then, who was it? Sibling? Maybe her father, who she hasn't seen in 7 years? Afraid to ask. She's scary when she snaps. Yeah, so it looks like there's no more cat maid girls. You can get ready for bed. And don't worry, Samus, I think I'll be ending stream in just a minute. Probably once we go up to the lab. The memory of her baleful glare sends a shiver up my spine. I hurry to the second floor. Yes, that does mean that there's not much time. Beardy, stop that. Thank you for the 100 bits, and then 200 bits, and then 200 more bits. Thank you, Samus, for berating Beardy. I'm safe in the lab. I start browsing at channel. Doesn't look like Tighter has made an appearance today. Tighter craze has dominated the occult board for the past... has dominated the occult board for the past week is starting to die down. In the end, it looks like I'm the only one who took Tighter seriously. Just about everyone is skeptical of him now, especially the poster called Free Gohan and Kamehameha. Honestly, I can't tell Tighter's true intentions either. Suddenly, I hear the door swing open. Startled, I turn to face the sound. Or do we? We will turn and face the music on the next stream. So if you like cliffhangers, you get a cliffhanger. Who's behind us? Samus's? Is it a maid cat girl? Is it a murder uncle? Is it one more frame? One more... okay. One more frame. Okay, you got your one more frame. We still don't know why she's here. Maybe she's here to murder us. She could still be here to murder us. You don't know that. You're welcome, Samus's.